Alright, so today we're finishing installing our storage boxes. We put this one in first as a test. It went pretty well. This one stores our propane tanks. In there we have two 20-pound horizontal propane tanks. And we'll just now replicate this whole system on the other side. So now over on the passenger side of the bus, we're going to be installing these two large storage boxes. They're 36 inches by 18 inches deep and about 18 inches tall. The opening is a little bit smaller than that. These will hold our hoses for our black tanks or gray tanks. And then over here we'll probably put in some camping gear, chairs, things like that. And we're going to install them in our big hole right here that I cut the other day. The kind of jack we're using to put these boxes into place is we got a hold of an ATV jack. I highly recommend, if you can get one of these or you have access to one, to use it, because unlike a bottle jack or a standard, car jack or floor jack, it's going to work a little better because there's a wider base on it. It's also aluminum, so it's a lot lighter weight to move around, and it works really well for moving these boxes because they're not super heavy, they're just really awkward and hard to hold. Oh, are you filming me? Okay, so we have our two boxes here. I'm bolting them together so we can install them as a single box underneath the bus. And that's because if I try and install them independently, they might not line up right. So I'll be bolting them in and then fixing them underneath the bus. But first I had to drill some holes. I drilled my two bottom ones already and installed the bolts here. I'm gonna drill my top one now.
To help trim out the hole cut that we made and seal the edges up a little bit better, we got this weather stripping made for car doors from Napa Auto Parts.
So we just tapped our holes for our rib nuts to be inserted into. So those will be what holds our storage boxes in. These rib nuts are heavy duty. They're made to hold heavyweight things. They're meant for automobile construction. So these should be more than enough to hold these boxes. We're not putting a ton of weight in them, but they will have some load on them. So this is the rib nut riveter. You just squeeze these arms together and it compresses the rivet, and then you can screw in your bolts. You just screw the bottom out. And then you got your rib nut in there. Okay, so I've drilled the holes in our baffles underneath, and I put in the rib nuts and screwed in the bolts, and on top of the bolts I put these little stoppers, or these actual little foot pegs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark them with paint, and then they're going to hang down a little bit lower from the actual side of the bus, and then it's going to make an imprint on storage boxes so I know where to drill my holes. Let's go for a press. Oh. No, it's just giving it a bit of a dent so it has something to grab on. See, that's enough of a position. Okay, so we have our boxes in position here. I've already installed the corner bolts in each corner to make sure it's all squared up, so all the other holes should line up correctly. We are going to be using these grade 8 bolts to secure them into the bus chassis. And we are also, I fabricated some rudimentary steel washers. These are made from flat stock we had left over. They're nice and wide, so when we bolt these in, we'll have a nice area of contact to help hold this whole system in place. Because these boxes, though the metal is pretty thick sheet metal, it still could bend and flex, and this will help keep it all up in there nice and secure. Our storage boxes are fully installed, ready to be loaded up. We hope you liked the video and found it informative. There will be links in the description below for all the things that we use in this install. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Right way. Get my words to operate out of my face. Stop filming.
No. You sexy silvered man, you.
That's not gonna help.
Sexy man, sexy man, sexy man. Oh, sexy Santa, sexy man, oh.
I'm just like, I'm prepared to like